Hi, Damon Sweeney here again with this video series on how to get over your ex or a divorce, a breakup, and why it's harder than anyone tells you, and exactly what makes it harder, and why once you understand what makes it harder, how you can actually go ahead and change that. You can get over them because you can get past whatever the thing that's holding you stuck, which previously I talked about. That's fight, flight, freeze, being stuck in fight, flight, freeze emergency state where most of your system, including most of your brain, is shut down and you're just on emergency response. And until your system, which includes your body, gets the signal that that emergency is over, it's going to stay in that emergency state. And what's worse is that we are smart enough as humans that we learn from experience, and what you learn from a breakup or divorce is that life is not safe, that relationships are not safe, that you are not safe, and that opening yourself up is not safe, and the danger can come unexpectedly from all kinds of directions. And so what you do is you actually accommodate to a higher level of fight, flight, and freeze, and that becomes normal for you. That just becomes the level you live on, right? And I told you the story about the woman who was so scared that her level is up here, right? She's always looking around for, where's the attack going to come from next? She's always looking over your shoulder when she's talking to you, and moves all the time. So that's what can happen. I hope that's not you, but it's called anxiety, and it's something that's learned. There can be all kinds of other things that contribute to it, but a lot of it is learned. And what we're doing is teaching your system to move to calm. Okay, so how do we do that? I said that in this video I would talk about the actual discovery that makes it possible to change. And it's actually a combination of things that make it possible, but one of the fundamental pieces is something, a discovery from neuroscience called memory reconsolidation. And I gave you some brain facts before, but you have neurons that are all connected up, and they embody all your feelings and responses and memories and projections on the future and thoughts about yourself and opinions about yourself and all that. So it used to be thought that once you have a neural network that is set up, especially one that has a lot of charge, like from something that was emotionally intense or very scary or something like that, that you could never undo that the most you could do was set up something to kind of counter it. So you have this fear, and then you have all the ways that you analyze it, and you say, well, it's really not that bad, and I'm safe right now, and you do breathing, and you do all kinds of things to manage the fear. Okay, and I'm sure you've learned a lot of things to do that. That's what all the tips and advice articles are about. Okay, so you may have learned to manage it to some degree, but if you look directly at it, it's still there. Okay, so in contrast to that, what we're doing is something completely different. We are actually undoing the neural network so that the reaction itself is not there. Okay, so back to the mechanism. The mechanism has four parts. You activate the neural network. This is how I've boiled it down from the people I learned it from, who are scientists and who, it's more complicated. Of course, you can make it more complicated, but I've boiled it down to the essence because I like simple and I like what works. So you activate the neural network, and we do this safely. All that takes is thinking about a situation or the person or whatever, and it's activated. So like if you think about your pet, or if you never had a pet, think about the fact that you've never had a pet. So that activates the neural network around that particular topic, okay? And think of, tying your shoes. That activates the neural network around tying your shoes. So that's very easy. And then you interrupt the usual processing. So this is not necessary for tying your shoes. I mean, there's probably not emotional content around that, and also it's a useful thing. So you don't want to undo that one. I don't know if you could. But if you have an emotional reaction to something, that's something that you can undo, because that's a learned response and it's on an emotional level, and it involves the fight or flight activation system, fight, flight, or freeze, and that's something that can be undone, and that's what we do. Okay, so you activate the neural network, and then you interrupt it. So it usually is just on automatic. It just starts, and runs its course, and it gets so automatic that it's A to B, A to Z, right? You just have a thought, and boom, you're all the way there to the end of the reaction pattern. And it feels like there's nothing you can do about it because it has become so ingrained, so you've become so efficient about it. You've actually learned to do that. Okay, so that's good news. It's a learned neural network with an emotional charge on it, and that's exactly the kind of thing we can undo. So you activate the neural network, you interrupt the usual processing, and that's not hard. That's built into all the methods that I use in Neuromastery and in the Get Over Your X Now program. So you activate, interrupt, and then you relearn. Okay, this is important. When you interrupt the neural network, the usual patterning, the usual processing of the neural network, then your brain does something very smart. It opens up and it says, oh, there's something new going on. What is it? What is it? And it's open to new learning at that point, new learning. So if we put in new learning at that point, it'll take it right in, if it's the right kind. And it'll change the neural network that is activated. So that's our opportunity. That's what we do. We activate the neural network in very safe ways, and then you interrupt it, and that just automatically happens because of the way we're doing it. And then we put in new learning, and the way we put in the new learning is it's on a body level. It's on a physiological level. It's something you do for yourself, and you put in calm directly into your nervous system. So what you're doing is you're introducing calm into your nervous system while you have your reaction pattern triggered. So that puts your brain into this untenable state where on the one side it wants to be activated and in doing its usual fight, flight, freeze response, and then on the other side it's getting calmer and calmer because of what we're doing, and it's creating more and more calm and ease, and you're moving out of the activation of the amygdala, the cortisol, the stress hormones. So you're moving out of that. So activated and calm, activated and calm. And when you do that, your system naturally moves toward calm. And why? Because, and this is my own theory, because being calm is much more metabolically efficient. It's healthier. So being in fight, flight, or freeze, I went over all the damaging things that does to your body. It's worth it for an emergency to escape from something that only takes a few minutes. But as an ongoing thing, it's quite damaging. The stress level is off the charts. That's why people, it's why people get sick. It's why people are stressed out, why people are continually anxious or nervous or fearful or shut down or self-doubtful, all those things. So that's what happens. So you come out of that and you move toward wholeness. It's just the same way that a cut on your skin will tend to heal if it can. Okay, it will heal if it can, because your body wants to move toward wholeness. Your whole system wants to move toward wholeness. So when we introduce calm into this reaction pattern, this fight or flight or freeze reaction pattern, we introduce calm, your system calms down. It just calms down. It becomes much more clear, much more objective. The blood returns to the front of your brain so you can think again. That's one thing that happens. Your systems, your body systems come back online. They start working again. And you return to maybe an even calmer place than you're used to. And you've learned, we're basically teaching your entire system from the body level on up that it's okay to be calm even when you think of these things, even when you think of your breakup or your divorce or your ex, okay, or everything connected to it. So that's what we're doing. And this is using brand new neuroscience, new in terms of science. It's only about, less than 20 years old, 15 years old. And most people don't know about it or understand it, and nobody that I know is directly using it the way I am. So I've incorporated this science discovery into methods that I've learned and used for years and years, and combination is fantastic. It totally works. I've spent the last 9 years developing this insight, and along with others that make it more effective too. So that's the breakthrough discovery. It's using memory reconsolidation with direct input into your body that makes it calm, that produces calm. And it's very simple. I just don't want to go into the technique here. But it's very simple and very, very effective, and it's lasting because you're actually rewiring your neural networks. So you have a neural network around your breakup, around your divorce, around your ex, and it has a lot of alarm, fight, flight, freeze connected to it. You think of them, you go, ah! So this activates all that, interrupts it, puts in calm, in a lasting way, so that's how it is. Okay, so that's the discovery that the Get Over Your Ex Now program is based on. And if you'd like to know more, there's a link in the description below. And if this is the first video that you're finding, there's a link down there that will take you to where you can sign up and get the whole series of 10. And also a free assessment that you can do to find out if you're really over your ex, and if so, how much. And you'll learn more about some of the things I've been talking about. That goes into more depth than I can do right here. Okay, so click the link below, subscribe, get the assessment, self-assessment of Are You Really Over Your Ex? And I'll see you next time. And the next time we'll talk about maybe what it's like when you really recover. And also, some people have a question like, well, is this too hard? Is this too scary? Is it too difficult? Does it take too long? So we'll talk more about how the program actually works and what it's like to experience it. Okay? So, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.